Class 11th, subject physics, 9th chapter, optics. From this chapter, already we have studied the formation of a rainbow. Now let us see different types of rainbow and how they are formed. So first one will be the primary rainbow and second is the secondary rainbow. Let us see the formation of primary rainbow. For that purpose, let us consider a white ray of light AB coming from the sun, that is white sunlight, is incident on the upper portion of this water drop at an angle of incidence I equal to 59 degree. So when this ray of light AB strikes this water drop, it will get refracted into the water drop. So in this case, this ray of light, white ray of light, will get deviated as well as it will get dispersed into its constituent colors, so that red and violet will be the extreme colors. Now after refraction due to this water drop, the ray of light for red color will travel along BR and for violet color it will travel along BF. When these refracted rays incident on the inner surface of this water drop, they will be internally reflected. But remember here, there is no total internal reflection, so simply it will be reflected internally inside the water drop, and then after reflection, the ray of light for the red color will travel along R dash, and for violet color it will travel along phi dash. And after that, from this R dash and V dash, the red color and the violet color, these two rays will emerge out of the water drop and will be seen on the observer, which is on the ground. So when this R dash and V dash emerges out and it is observed by the observer on the ground, at that time the violet color will make inclination theta v equal to nearly 41 degree with the ground, and the red light will now make theta r as the inclination, which is equal to 43 degree with this ground. So when this rainbow is observed by the observer on the ground, at that time the inner arc will be violet and the outer arc will be red. So in this way, in case of formation of primary rainbow, there is only one reflection which takes place internally, that is only one internal reflection will take place. But again remember that it is not the total internal reflection. Now as this angle of incidence is there, these angles will be here. For this violet color, this will be the angle of refraction. For this red color, it will be angle of refraction. So these refracted rays will now travel along this direction, will emerge from this water drop and will be observed by the observer on the ground. So in this way, the primary rainbow will be observed. Now let us go for secondary rainbow. In order to explain again the formation of secondary rainbow, let us consider AB as the white ray of light coming from the sun, that is white sunlight, which is now incident on the lower surface, lower portion of this water drop. As soon as this ray of light incident at point B on the surface of water drop, again it will be refracted into the water drop, so that it will deviate and will get dispersed into its constituent colors. Now the violet and red, these are again two the extreme colors. Now when these rays, refracted rays, travel further through this water drop, for this red color, ray of light will strike at point R, and for violet color it will strike at point V. From these 2 points R and V, these two rays of light for violet and red color will reflect internally and will travel along these two paths. So that for red color, the ray of light will travel along R dash. For violet, it will travel along phi dash. So this will be the first reflection. Again, when this red and violet color light is incident at R dash and phi dash, again second reflection will take place, and then this ray of light for red color will travel along R dash, R double dash, and for violet color it will travel along phi dash, phi double dash. Now when these reflected rays reach point R double dash and phi double dash, after that it will emerge out of the water drop and will be seen by the observer on the ground. So in this case, the inclination made by the red color will be nearly equal to 51 degree with the ground, and the inclination made by the violet color with the ground, that is theta v, is nearly equal to 53 degree. Now if you compare the primary and secondary rainbows, then in case of secondary rainbows, now this red color, that is red arc, will be the inner arc, and this violet color will give rise to violet arc, which is the outer arc. So there will be interchange of the red and violet arcs in case of secondary rainbow, since there will be internal reflections two times. So twice internal reflection take place in case of formation of secondary rainbow, and hence there will be interchange of the inner and outer arcs as compared with the primary rainbow. So remember, in case of primary rainbow there will be only one internal reflection, while in case of secondary rainbow there will be two internal reflection, but in both the cases there will be no total internal reflection. And now let us see some of the questions related with these rainbows. The very first question is, why total internal reflection is not possible during formation of a rainbow? So when any rainbow is formed, why there is no total internal reflection? So for that we can explain it as the angle of incidence I in air, that is at the surface of the water drop, cannot be greater than 90 degree. So if you consider the first diagram, that is formation of primary rainbow, this is the angle of incidence, it will be never greater than 90 degree, and therefore these angles of refraction for red as well as violet colors, they will be very very small as compared with the critical angle. So as angle of incidence is always less than 90 degree, the angles of refraction are in water will always be less than the critical angle. So if it is less than critical angle, then there will be no total internal reflection, and therefore from this it is clear that the angle of refraction R itself is the angle of incidence at any point for one or more internal reflections which takes place in the drop. So if you consider this angle of refraction for violet as well as angle of refraction for this red, these angles of refraction will behave as angle of incidence for the further reflection. That reflection may take place once or twice, but they will act as angle of incidence, and so that as angle of refraction are less than critical angle, we can say that the angle of incidence for this reflection are less than critical angle, and hence there is no total internal reflection. So in case of rainbows, the total internal reflection is not possible. Now let us see the second question. Why is rainbow seen only for a definite angle range with respect to ground? So Why the rainbows will be seen only for a definite angle range with respect to ground surface. So the explanation of this will be as it is. So if you consider the visibility of the light, then for clear visibility we must have a beam of enough intensity. The intensity of light must be enough for clear visibility. Similarly, we know that near minimum deviation curve is almost parallel to x-axis, that is, for majority of angles of deviation is nearly the same, and they are almost parallel, forming a beam of enough intensity. So as previously discussed, we have seen the curve of angle of deviation against angle of incidence. It is a symmetric parabola. So at the base of that is towards x-axis, when angle of deviation is equal to delta m, that is minimum deviation, at that time some portion of that parabola will become parallel to x-axis, and therefore the rays in the near vicinity of minimum deviation are almost parallel to each other, and the rays beyond this range, that is after that minimum deviation, it will suffer wide angular dispersion and thus will not have enough intensity for our vicinity. So after minimum deviation, when that curve is not parallel to the x-axis, beyond this there will be a large angular dispersion of light and thus will not have enough intensity for visibility, and therefore the rainbows will be seen for only a definite angle range with respect to ground. Now the next question is, why is the rainbow a bow or an arch? Why the shape of that rainbow is like a bow or an arch, and can we see a complete circular rainbow? So whether we can see the complete circular rainbow. So previously we have discussed some of the concepts regarding this. Now it will be shown in this diagram. This will be the horizon. This line represents horizon. It will meet at point O to the common axis of both primary and secondary rainbows. So this line represents the common axis for both primary as well as secondary rainbows. Now here the inner arc for primary rainbow is violet, outer arc is red. For secondary rainbow, inner arc is red, outer is violet. Their respective inclinations are shown here. These are the inclinations: 41 degree, 43 degree, 51 degree as well as 54 degree. These are shown. Then these are the incident rays coming from the sun, and they are incident on these water drops. So if it is the situation, then the rainbows will be formed or observed in the form of arch or the bow, because here there will be a cylindrical shape we will get. If you consider half of the angle of this conical surface, then this will give rise to 41 degree. So for this, half the angle of that conical structure will be equal to 41 degree. And so with the help of this diagram, now we can explain like this. So we know that the different colors of rainbow are seen on arches of cones of respective angles. The smallest half angle refers to the center of violet color of primary rainbow, which is 41 degree, As the sun rises, the common center of rainbows moves down. See here, as the sun rises, the common center of the rainbows moves down, and hence as the sun moves up, as it comes up, smaller and smaller part of rainbows will be seen. If the sun is above 41 degree, violet arch of primary rainbow cannot be seen, and hence beyond 53 degree nothing will be seen. Hence rainbows are seen at mornings as well as evenings. If the observer moves up, when the observer moves up, at that time this line OP will now move up, and as line OP moves up, making lower part of the arches visible. So after certain minimum elevation, the entire circle for all the cones are now visible. So if initially the observer is here at point P, when it moves up, that is through any aeroplane, when it is flying, at that time he will move up. At that time a complete circular rainbow will be observed. So that point already we have seen. So when any person is in revolving plane at a particular height, then he will observe that rainbow in the form of a complete circle. And now let us see the last question. Size of water drops convenient for rainbow. So in order to form that rainbow, in order to observe that rainbow, what should be the size of the water drops? So the water drops responsible for the formation of a rainbow should not be too small. So the convenient size of the water drop will be slightly large, because the water drops responsible for the formation of rainbow should not be too small. So what will happen if two small water drops are there? So for two small drops, the phenomenon of diffraction of light, that is redistribution of energy due to any obstacle, will take place. That is, if we consider the two small drops for the production of this rainbow, at that time diffraction of light will take place, that is bending of light around the corners of that drops will take place, and hence it dominates the diffraction of light, and clear rainbow cannot be seen. The rainbow cannot be seen clearly due to the diffraction of light taking place due to too small size of the water drops, and therefore slightly large size of the drops of the water will be convenient for the formation of rainbows. Thus the rainbows are observed during mornings as well as evenings in the form of arches. So in the form of arches, these rainbows will be observed at mornings and evenings without total internal reflection. There will be no total internal reflection, but only there will be simply internal reflection inside the water drops, and big water drops are required for the formation of these rainbows.